Hello everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the art of paper cutting. Paper cutting is one of the most popular and traditional Chinese folk crafts. So, what do you know about Chinese paper cutting?
People use small scissors or knives to cut out designs out of paper, so it should have started from the time when the paper was invented in the Han Dynasty.
But I have read some books about paper cutting. It said that it can date back to about several hundreds years ago, or even earlier than that.
Indeed, it's hard to say exactly when it started. We think it is around the 6th century, correct? Yeah. But recent archeological discoveries suggest it may have been even earlier. But we know that women used to paste gold and silver foil into their hair, and men did similar things for sacred rituals. The making method and artistic style of this gold foil, I think, dates back to the Shang Dynasty from the 16th to the 11th century BC. And this was very similar to later paper cutting, right? Yeah, I think so. So it's considered it may be the possible origin. It could be the kind of foundation for paper cutting. But all that aside, have you heard of the story of Jin State shoes?
Yes. It is said that in the spring and autumn periods, the feudal prince fight for the supremacy. The Jin states elected other states, and in order to show off his great achievements, the king, Jin Xianggong, ordered the skillful craftsmen to make gold foil of 10 fruit patterns.
Yes, the 10 patterns represented the 10 tributaries for his wedding. He let the queen Jiangshi sew the golden foil patterns to her wedding shoes with thread. And with these shoes on, the queen looked extremely beautiful and elegant.
I have a question. Was paper cutting popular in ancient times?
Yeah, I believe so. It was first developed properly in the Tang Dynasty. It was popular among common people in the Song Dynasty. Yeah. Then the Qing and Ming Dynasty arrived, and that's when it was at its peak fashion. But do you know Cao Qiaoniang? Cao Qiniang.
You heard about it?
I have heard about that, yes.
In the Yuan Dynasty, the customs of Cao Qiniang was very popular in Jiangsu province. When it rained ceaselessly, the local people would cut the paper into a female figure with hands holding brooms, and the paper cut will be hung below the eaves to pray for a fine day.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yes.
In Chinese history, paper cutting in people's daily life and traditional festival, ceremonies, virtues, and folk customs.
So, is it still popular in modern times?
Yes. As far as I know, some schools in China have opened elective course as paper cutting.
That's right. We also have this course in Hubei University, and it's so well liked by students. But what do people use paper cutting for nowadays?
Well, today Chinese paper cutting is mainly used for decorating houses and festival decorations, I think. But you can usually see it on trademarks and adverts and things such as this, like interior decoration and book designs or just fashion design. But nowadays, I think most urban residents paste Chinese New Year paper cuttings of the letter Fu to their doors. Fu, it means fortune or good fortune. But I think the full thing is Fu Dao Le, meaning good fortune arrives. Yeah. But actually, the upside down diamond of Fu, it was meant to be the everlasting symbol of perpetual life, I believe.
I have one more example. Paper cuts of the 12 Chinese zodiac animals serve as a kind of decoration or memoir for people's birthdays.
I want to ask, what are the features of paper cutting?
Well, that depends. China has a large ethnic population and a vast territory of many different areas. Chinese folk paper cutting changes from districts to districts, from geographical features to in each province, so it changes greatly. But generally speaking, the north of China is more straightforward and simple. However, in the south it's quite delicate and intricate, more elegant. I think this reflects the difference in disposition and personality between the north and the south. But for example, Shanxi has a long history because of its primitive and farming culture. The cutting style is quite natural and simple. It's quite plain. They have a thing called a window decoration called a window flower.
Window flower.
Window flower, right? Chonghua.
Yes.
Okay. But the patterns and themes in paper cutting in the northeast is well known for illustrating the daily life and activities of local people there, and women and children. But I think again in the south it's most famous for its true-to-life depictions and profound connotations. But one example is the Jinhua paper, in Zhejiang province. It's well known for paper cutting patterns and vivid figures and the backgrounds of the scenery. So through the paper cuttings we can see the difference in people of these different areas. Actually, as a cultural carrier of the original Chinese philosophy, Chinese paper cutting also exhibits the entire nation's philosophical viewpoints and cultural ideology. So it has great cultural values, I think.
Yes. So in 2001, the Chinese folk craft of paper cutting has been listed by the UNESCO as a masterpiece of oral and intangible heritage of humanity.
Wow, that's cool.
It is. So, do you know about window blossoms?
I can only cut out some simple ones. There are some basic steps. Let me try a double happiness. The first step is to fold. How to fold the paper depends on what patterns you want to cut out. For this step, first get one piece of square paper and then fold it in half for one time, like this. Fold it in half once again. And the second step is to draw the patterns you want to cut out. Like this one is for the double happiness. The third step is to cut. Use a pair of scissors to cut different kinds of curtain lines. Cut out the shadows, and so on. like this. The last step is to unfold the paper. Make sure you open up the paper with a light touch to avoid tearing the paper. And flatten it. Then you will get a beautiful pattern like this.
Thanks for watching today. We've been talking about paper cutting from the traditional Chinese culture. Thanks for watching and join us next time.